So my wife needs a new garden bed, and it's gonna be the same kind like this. It's just made from lumber, 8 pieces of timber, and 8 by 8, so each piece of timber is 8 feet long. And it's gonna build it in front here because it's gonna make it easily accessible for her. And I'm not too worried about whether it's perfectly straight. I'm not gonna level it or anything. I just probably gonna have to support a little bit this spot here. There's a pretty significant drop, and then just start building here in front of it. I'm a little out of breath because I just chopped out a few little trees that came from these flower trees here that are HOA, and their seeds fell over the fence. They had to chop these out here with an axe. So that's not my usual condition. I'm gonna dig out some dirt from here and try to fill that spot up a little bit, and then hope for the best. So I bought a bunch of timber from Home Depot. These are 8 pieces, 8 of these. They're 8 foot each. They're 8 foot long, and they have this cool profile that I like. So they're kind of rounded, but have a flattened top and bottom. So it looks good when they're stacked, a little bit like a log cabin. The quality you get is very mixed. Some of them are super heavy, very dense, so obviously have grown slowly. Others are very lightweight. I'm getting stung here or something. Others are very lightweight, so they've grown way too fast, obviously. But how long they last is anyone's guess. We're in Houston, Texas, and the sun is gonna beat them senseless over the years. So the whole thing is good for a few years. Could be 3 years, could be 6, could be 7. But nothing wooden will last here for good. But it's fairly cheap, fairly easy to do. So rebuilding this in 5-6 years or so is not a big deal. So this is how I line them up. The only trick here is I sort of offset those joints. So I have this one bump into this one, but here in this corner I'm gonna have this bump into that, and then later when I put the second layer on top, I'm gonna have that overlap here. So that's the offset at the corners. So each piece bumps into the end of the next one, and no one piece is between two. The reason I'm doing this is I put a second layer on, and I can then overlap, and by tying them together with screws I get automatically a built-in stability, better than just stacking them, and I have the corners connected. I'm not paying attention to how straight this is. If I have roughly right angles, I'm good. Because like I said, we live in Houston, Texas. The summers are several months. We have over 100 degrees every day. The dirt, the soil is shrinking, shifting. When we have rain, it's torrential rainfall. So the bottom this sits on is going to shift within a few months, and everything gets a little out of whack. You see these old beds here? The wood eventually gives in, but they settle nicely, and for 5-6 years I'm pretty sure this is going to be fine. So the way to stack them is this way. where in each corner you have this overlap, and then I will pull a screw in here that goes through here, ends up in here, another one here, and then I have the corner stabilized. Before I do that, I might actually additionally pull in diagonally one here, but I'm not sure yet. There's always the risk to split the wood. New battery. All right, here it is. So I stacked them with this offset here, so they overlap. I connected them with 4-inch screws, 4-inch screws from the end piece to the end, and then one further over so it connects with the other one. It gives me a somewhat strong corner here. Same here. In addition, I've pulled in like a diagonal screw into the joints just to kind of give them a little bit more pull. I don't know if that really changes a lot. That's the same on each corner, and then in the middle I've tightened down one more of those 4-inch screws to make sure there's no gap here when they start bending, and that is it. So I think for 4, 5, 6 years they should be good. The beds that we have here, some of them are beginning to rot away, just individual pieces, but they have been here for 5 years now, actually a little over 5 years, 5.5 or so. So eventually I have to rebuild them, but I just wanted to show you one from scratch. So if you ever need a quick, fairly nice looking garden bed, it's pretty generous with 8x8. If If you need small ones, just cut the timber in half and make 8x4s. I like the way they look.